One of the most challenging positions in NBA 2K27 to build right now, in my opinion, is a point guard build. There's just so many factors that we don't know about yet, and depending upon the mode that you play is really affect the type of player that you're going to create. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the best point guard build, in my opinion, for Rec or Pro-Am. We're talking about like the high level fives where you have a team and that aspect. So to start this build out, of course, we're going to pick point guard. We're on the NBA 2K HQ app. We're going to go 6'2". We're going to go 165 pounds. And we're going to go with a 6'3" wingspan. Now, I already know a lot of comments I'm going to get saying 6'2" is too short. You need to go 6'5", 6'6", and up. And of course, there's a ton of different metas that are going to probably come out of this. I have no clue if it's going to be the tall guards, the smaller guards, but it's almost impossible to make a really good guard when it comes to the builder right now, just due to like the cap breaker system, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the safe bet at 6'2". I feel like it's like the right balance of, you're just tall enough to be able to hopefully play a little bit of defense, but, you still have that 99 3 ball. And that's something that's always been consistent in 2K, is being every year, every point guard, the best ones all have that like high level 3. So we'll see how the shooting is and all that. 6'2", and again, like I said, this is the high level comp rec players that have fives. 5 players on the court. Most of the time, your point guard is going to play in the corner. So have that in mind when you're looking at this build, that this build isn't the one that's up on the wing guarding ball. That majority of the time you're going to be playing in the corner, guarding your cuts and things like that. So we're going to continue here. Now, my specific kind of play style, I always think a guard has to have some dunk. So we're going to start there. We're going to put your driving dunk all the way up to an 87. That's where I want to start this build out. I wanted to shoot for the 89 to get the double contact dunk packages, but point guard is very difficult. There's a lot of things you need to get. And so we're going to start the 87. I'm going to go down to physicals real quick. We're going to do those real quick so that way the badges fill out. So for your physicals on this point guard build, we're going to go 87 speed. For agility, we're going to go with an 81. For your strength, we're going to go to a 45. And for your vertical, we're going to go 75. So let's just talk about the physicals while we're here. 87 speed. I just feel like also at times, you're going to be able to get those quick outlet passes from your big. We want the pace badge. Now the pace badge is, the 95, 91. I think there's a lower threshold below this one. It is 87 speed. So we just hit the threshold to get it. And that's kind of the intention here. We want to get that gold pace badge, even though you're not really like going to run the break a ton. But there's opportunities always for point guards to get the ball up the court as fast as they can. And then depending upon the fuse, react badges and all that stuff, we'll be able to in-game boost this up, hopefully to Hall of Fame or Legend, just to be able to make you move faster. 81 agility, you don't need a ton of agility in the corner, but we want to get the 81 just so you can move around pretty quickly. Then the 75 vert is going to be tied back up here to the 87 driving dunk. That you need the 75 vert to get the dunk package. If you go 89, you need a 78 vert. Standing dunk, this build doesn't end up getting any. We're going to go 33 because it'll finish the build out. But this build, like I said, does not get any standing dunk at all because it is under the 6'4". I think that's the threshold, pretty sure. Then your driving layup, we're going to put that to a 79. And then that'll finish the finishing... except the post control, we got to go to a 34, and that would finish this one. So that's the finishing on it. A lot of driving dunk, that's really all we wanted. I'd be able to, because everything's stick dunk in this game, so you're definitely going to want that. You kind of already know, but for your 3-pointer, we're going to go 94, and again, that's where your 5 cap breakers are going to come in. So this is kind of a long-term play, not super long-term, but I think almost all your guards are going to make a 94 3-pointer build. And then use those first 5 cap breakers on this specifically. Your free throw, we're going to go up to an 87, and we're not going to touch the midi at all. So again, depending upon your playstyle, I have seen like floaters and layups that are really good when it came to the content creators at Community Day. Now, if you're like a front fade midi kind of guard, you really want to pay attention to the smooth operator badge. So you really want to think about this, you getting this badge up. It's no longer... I think it used to be, tied together with 3, and you just get that. So they separated it, which I like. It's going to force our guards to pick a direction. I'm always going to lean on the 3 hunters over the middies, but again, if you end up going almost no finishing, you know, or just like a layup, no dunking, and you're a front fade player, or like a player that can hunt the mid range. Just something to think about when it comes to, you know, different play styles when it comes to the game. And we don't know the metas at all yet, so it'd definitely be something interesting to see. Playmaking, we're gonna go 85 pass accuracy. For your ball handle, we're gonna go 94, and then for your speed of the ball, we're gonna go 89. So for playmaking, the 85, the biggest thing that I wanted to try to get was that bailout badge. You just never really know like what you're gonna need when it comes to playmaking, and bailout has always been a badge that is a crutch at times for a lot of players, but I think it's just needed when it comes to taking bad shots, especially with all the talk about like how boosted defense is. If you get caught in a bad spot, the bailout badge is always going to be there. The 94 ball handle, really with that, we want to be able to just unlock the best dribble animations, and we'll kind of talk about those at another time as we kind of learn what the best dribble moves are. 94 is a really good threshold. I can't remember the exact threshold that they're hitting, but based on a lot of the research that I've done with some other guards that I've seen, 94 seems to be where they're trying to hit, or that's their first +5 and they're going a little lower 3. We're going to start with 89 here. And so the threshold actually is an 88, but again, if you wanted to end up going to the 94, you'll be able to use your +5 there. For your defense, for your perimeter, we're going to go 71. And that's going to unlock that bronze challenger badge, which I think might be needed. We'll see. But again, there was a tweet or an X post by Mike Wang talking about height matters, perimeter matters, but height matters a lot too. And then just with like the no dip quick draw badge and all that stuff that we've kind of dealt with in the last 2K, having somebody with some challenger in the corner is probably going to help a little bit. So probably could go a little lower if you wanted, but there's no reason probably to not just shoot for it. Then your steal, we're going to go with a 77. And I kind of contemplate on the steal of like, do I want to just keep bronze interceptor? But it always seems like getting that silver or gold is like really needed, especially depending upon how lanes are, everything like that. There's a huge emphasis on defense, so having a silver interceptor badge, especially in like Comp 5's Rec or Pro-Am or the Cruise HQ, it's going to be pretty interesting to see those kind of like actual lane steals. But going silver, I think here is kind of like hedging our bets. So to finish defense, it's super cheap on point guard because they're 6'2", I'm assuming. But we're just going to max out our interior at 65, and then we're just going to max out our block at 59. So now we have a 65 interior point guard. You might not get a stop, but you can drop to the paint. You never really know at times when the game's going to grant you something. Rebounding, we're not going to touch, 25, 45. And then that will finalize the build overall. Now the main strength of the build, how I look at it, is it's pretty all around. Again, you're a very specific role. So if you're going into solo rec, I always talk about in my past builds over the years, just going a tall guard, especially when you're alone. Now you do get pushed lower in positions. So if you really would just want to play point guard, I mean, the only adjustments that I could think to make to this build would be probably maybe a little less finishing and then add in defense if you have to go like guard other point guards. Other than that, there's not really much adjustments to be able to make. So that will jump into the builder glossary, and let's go look at the cap breakers real quick. So cap breakers, you can get the 89 drive dunk with 1 cap breaker, but you're going to need to boost that vertical up by 3. And when you go to your vertical, it is a 3. So 2 cap breakers will get you the 89 contact dunks. You'll have to do 1 in vert and 1 in driving dunk. So that's a possibility if you want to do it on this build. For shooting now, of course, the 5 on 3-point is what we want to get that 99. Playmaking wise, you can do the 5 on speed with ball to get the 94. There's really not much else to do here. I don't know if you're going to need higher pass ac. Maybe ball handle, we'll see depending upon the animations, but I like where we're at with playmaking in general. Defense, as you can see, your steal could go up a lot. Like this can get a 93 steal. It can also get the 82 perimeter, which I believe is silver challenger. So you can boost this build up quite a bit when it comes to like a later build. So there is like a lot of future potential with this build if, you know, money or things like that are a problem and you kind of want to make one build. As you've seen, like 2 caps, you can get your dunk, another 5 caps, you can get your 3-pointer, another, 5 caps, you can get max speed with ball, 10 cap. I know it's a ton of caps. I'm just saying for in general, if that's like a something that users think about or players think about with this. And then physicals, you can end up getting the 92, 90, but that's not for the, you won't get the Hall of Fame pace with that. I think you got to get 95. We'll go look at the takeovers now. So finishing takeover, you do get the airspace. That's the main one that I would shoot for. It just makes sense as a point guard to have that airspace, especially if like you switch in and out of 5 out or anything like that. Shooting wise, of course, we're going to get every shooting badge. We really don't have to look at all through these. Main one I'd probably focus on, probably zip code. That's always probably going to be a super popular one. Calibrated is like an interesting one, but maybe not really for point guards because it's all catch and shoot. But it does have standstill jumper, so there is a debate going on like the calibrated badge versus the other one, because this one's going to boost every single shot, whereas that one you have to be, you know, in a different zip code. Playmaking, of course, we get good playmaking badges. We have high pass accuracy, so we have Cook, Dishmaster. I would just love Dishmaster. We'll see how good Blur is. I think last year was the Blur one that started off like super glitchy. You could like just never miss a dunk. I'm assuming they fixed it, but defensive takeovers, we don't get any of those, and of course rebounding, we don't get any of those. Okay, now for just a few animations of dribbling. Really, we're going to have to look at dribble styles, some of the more popular ones from last year. So one was always Ja Morant. As you can see, you got to have an 85 speed with ball and height under 6'5". Another popular one, we don't have De'Aaron Fox here, but another one to look out for is this Kyrie one. Now, I know that's a 94 speed with ball, so that's like out of our threshold, but the fact that Kyrie's to a 94 and just how like some of the moves look a little bit, that'd be something to look out for if you're like a dribble head. A lot of the playmaking, I'm gonna leave it up to a lot of the other like super glitchy guards to get everybody right early. I haven't had a chance to actually lab the game. I've only ever seen people dribble, so I just know the dribble style is always one of the biggest ones. And make sure you look up like the Devin Booker's been updated, so that's kind of out of the game in general. So with that, we'll go look at the name of the build now. So we'll click continue here. So our build is called a Bouncy Play Shot with Damian Lillard, Tyrese Maxey, and Gilbert Arenas. Strengths has a deep bag of ISO moves. Deep range demands respect. Leaves defenders in the dust. Highlight waiting to happen. Weakness, opponents win most physical matchups because they're low strength. So really, in general, no weaknesses with this build. And that'll do it for this video. If you're a content creator, I want you to check out a tool in the description below called Launch Lens. It's a tool that can do your thumbnails, titles, description, tags. It just makes your workflow a lot more manageable when it comes to, you know, editing videos or putting videos out. So like I said, there's a link in the description below. And if you're interested in playing NBA 2K, I also have a Discord link in the description below. We play Comp, Rec, Pro-Am, pretty much any game mode in 2K. Always looking for players to run, and we're going to create a crew or a Pro-Am team if whatever's in the game. So make sure to check that out. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.